Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Wicked Edge. We have a fantastic show for you tonight, as we always do. When did I not bring you awesome entertainment? That's right, never, people. Okay, so this is Tiffani Beth, your favorite Wicked Wild Child, and I have a kick-ass country show for you again, as always. And tonight we have a fantastic guest. I will learn to talk someday, I promise. A fantastic guest named Pete Kennedy. He is a up-and-coming country singer, and he's fantastic. I've heard some of his music, and ladies, he's got the voice that's going to make you melt. Just letting you know. Just giving you the heads up. He's definitely somebody you're going to want to listen to. Also, before we get to Mr. Kennedy, I have a couple of announcements to make. The first announcement is that if you're looking to get healthy, and who isn't other than me, just had a donut, and it was delicious, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. If you're looking to get healthy, which we all are in mind and body, you want to go to www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com. You want to look over what Ms. Karen has to offer, because let me tell you, she is a wonderful, beautiful woman who has put together the most awesome plan to help you become a better you. And email her for your free 50-minute health history consultation, because what she'll do is she'll design a program to specifically meet your target goals. You want to lose more weight? You'll lose weight. You want to just eat healthy and maybe become a little more active? She'll throw that plan together for you. It's whatever you want. She'll do for just you, and it's completely confidential. And through the whole process, if you choose to, make a plan with her, it's all you and it's all her. And she's there to guide you and coach you and cheer you on and help you reach all the goals you need. So that's www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com. Also, with Rolling Hills Asylum, I just want to give a shout-out to them. There's going to be a couple of events up there, and that's East Bethany, New York, right outside of Batavia, New York. And it's funny because it's really historic, because it was a prison, it was a poorhouse, it was an asylum. And what's funny is it's in the middle of nowhere, yet 15 minutes from everywhere. It's one of those odd things. But it's full of history. They have movie nights. They have ghost hunts. They have a lot of things, and it's fantastic, and you're not going to want to miss it. So that is www.therollingHillsAsylum.com. Book your tickets for movies, book your tickets for ghost hunts, and also keep up on the latest events happening there. Also, if you're a musician or if you're an author, I don't know if you've looked on www.DTM Wicked Radio lately, but we have the Music Mayhem page and the Author's Corner. If you're an author, we'd love to feature your published works. We already have some great authors on there already. And if you're a musician, we'd love to feature your band or your individual artistic music. And we have a lot on there. We've got a ton of country singers. We have Derek Davis from Babylon AD. We've got Maul. We've got Ivan DePrume from White Zombie. There's a lot of great musicians on there. That gives you access to everything they're selling. So if you're a musician, and my motto is, there's never such thing as too much exposure, we would love to feature you. Just email me at dtmwicked@yahoo.com. That's Tiffani Beth at dtmwicked@yahoo.com. And email me for more information so we can get you on our Music Mayhem page or our Author's Corner page. Also, a personal note, it is getting really, really hot. First it was really, really cold, and now it's getting really, really hot. So if you have a child or an animal, do not leave them in your hot car, even with the windows cracked. That's really stupid. And if I find you've left a child or an animal in a really hot car with all 4 windows up, I will happily smash your windows to grab out the child and the animal, and then I will repeatedly beat you with a shovel. That is how it works in upstate New York. So as much as I love to spread love, because we all need to spread love, no more hate, take care of your animals and take care of your children. That's all I'm going to say about that. All I'm going to say. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our awesome, awesome country guest who has a voice that could melt any heart. His name is Pete Kennedy, and he is fantastic. How are you today?
I am great. How are you doing? And thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be on here today.
Well, it's a pleasure having you. What an awesome accent you have.
Thank you.
And what a voice you have. I mean, you have a beautiful voice.
Thanks very much. That's very flattering indeed. I don't know. It's well, you know what? it's going well, and I suppose it's got me all the way from Ireland across the pond here to the United States. So it's up to me now to make it all happen from here in.
Yes. Now, how did you become, now with country, a genre of music you've always enjoyed?
Yes, it is. And when I was growing up as a kid, I remember my first memories of music would be listening to the Eagles and getting very familiar with a lot of their music. And I used to hear Kenny Rogers playing a lot in the background, and Chris Christopherson and all those guys as well, all those legendary country artists. And then, like I say, I grew up listening on Eagles, Hotel California, Take It Easy, Take It to the Limit, all those fantastic hits. And Gareth Brooks arrives on the scene with phenomenal music, and that was it. That was basically it. I was hooked on that genre, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, what a story.
Yeah, that's kind of because, back then, I guess after the 70s and 80s, the Eagles were so successful, and a lot of cover bands in Ireland were playing a lot of their music, and it's pretty much everywhere. Any bar you ever went into, a restaurant or anything, their music was always playing on the jukebox or playing in the corner. So it was, it was something that I definitely was able to relate to.
Aww, that's so cool. That is so neat. And, being a music lover, I can completely. Where exactly did you come from?
I come from a little town called Clarine, which is in County Offaly, which is on the map. Geographically, it's right in the centre. If you were to drop a needle on the map of Ireland, you would not be too far away from where I'm from. It's a small little town. There's about, believe it or not, there's 400, and I think the exact number is something like 414 people who live there. So it's like we've got a church, we've got a GAA park, which is our national games, and school. That's it. That's all it is. Just really a crossroads. Very rural, very in the middle of nowhere. But it's cool. It's a cool place.
Kind of sounds like where we live. Very People ask us because we're on so many different networks. Like, we're a growing station, becoming a really big mega station. And people are like, so where are you guys out of? And when I say, oh, New York, they're like, oh, New York. I'm like, no, not New York City. We live 3 hours north of New York City, to where if you reach civilization, you've gone way too far. You need to turn back around to where the cows are.
And you get lots of snow up there during the winter time, right?
It was 50 below zero up here.
Ouch. Ouch. That hurts.
Yes, it hurt a lot. As a matter of fact, we have friends out in L.A. One of our hosts are out in L.A., and while it was still like below 34 to 40 here, they'll call me up and be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm freezing. They're like, oh, I'm on the beach sipping a margarita in 84-degree weather. I'm like, I hate you. I just want you to know our relationship is over.
Yeah. You don't need to hear that when you're looking at -50. You definitely do not need to hear that. That's for sure.
No, when you're pouring hot coffee over yourself to just be warm, and you don't even feel it scalding your skin, it's bad. And then when they're like, oh, it's 94 here, and we're on the beach sipping your margarita, and I'm like, I hope a shark eats you. I'm just saying.
Well, what's the forecast for next week? Is it pretty good up there? I think it's pretty good in New York for next week. Yeah,
we're now in the 80s and the 70s. Today we've had some storms, and it's really rainy, and it's supposed to be really raining tomorrow, but it'll be like 77. I can deal with that.
Okay, because I'm going up there on Sunday, and
oh, you
I'm going to be there. Yeah, I'm going up to do some shows and a few things around New York on Sunday. I will be in New York until Friday, I think, or Thursday. Sorry, no, Thursday we leave to come back down again. So I will be in the city performing at Flannery's Bar downtown next Wednesday at 6 p.m. before the Rangers game, I believe. And Sunday evening, I think I have a performance at Clark's on McLean Avenue, which is a very Irish area, very Irish part of New York. And I'm looking forward to that because I'm going to meet lots of people and have some fun.
I've heard you should, excuse me, you should visit Hell's Kitchen because it's all Irish down in New York.
Yeah.
So
okay. That's in the city, right?
It is. It's part of the city. It's like they have Little Italy. They have, Chinatown. they have a bunch of ethnic quarters that are made up of all the native people that have come from other countries. And Hell's Kitchen is the Irish part, I guess.
Hell's Kitchen.
It's not just a show. It's actually a borough in New York City.
Well, it sounds about right. If you're talking Irish and you say Hell's Kitchen, that sounds like a good bet. I'm just kidding.
No, it's okay. I totally identify with you because I laugh with my friends because I tell them I have 3 of the worst tempers. I'm Italian, I'm Scottish, and I'm Irish. So
oh dear.
I'll punch you, I'll sing about it, and then I'll drink. And that's
yeah. And then when you're finished, you'll drink again.
That's right. So I laugh with my friends because I have 3. I mean, I try to be really, really nice, but I have 3 of the worst tempers, so I can totally agree. I can totally see where you're coming from.
Well, I actually have to be honest here. I've got a small temper myself. When things aren't going right, I've been known to maybe have a little swear word every now and then, but not that often. I've learned to control it a bit better. But that doesn't mean I get all crazy and angry in the gigs. No, I'm sweet as pie at the gigs.
You're sweet as pie until it goes wrong, and then you're like, F, because I'm a potty mouth. I try to really hold back on air, but I'm a total potty mouth. I was raised by a trucker, and I'm Italian.
Okay.
So.
Okay, because in Ireland, every second word is F. You know, that's what we kind of go up by. But I have to be careful down the south here. I have to really watch my language, and which is a good thing. It's good to be very mannerly.
Absolutely. I just actually had on Miss Abigail Rich. She's a supermodel in Texas, and she's such a sweetheart. I love her so much, and she's got this very genuine Southern charm. And I have to tell you, when I was talking to her, like, I try not to swear on air too much because it can offend people, and I don't want to hurt anybody. But I said the S word, and because we were talking about animal cruelty and stuff, and she didn't say a thing, and I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't offend her because I think the world of her. I absolutely love her. She's just the sweetest person in the world, and such a big heart. But I'm like, oh, I said the S word. Is she gonna get mad? And she didn't say a thing. She didn't skip a beat. I'm like, whew, dodged the bullet.
No, they'll forgive you. They'll forgive you for sure.
So your music, your voice is really very beautiful. I mean, it's just, I'm serious, ladies. He can melt you. If his accent doesn't get you, his voice will.
Thank you.
So you already had me at hello. Once I heard your accent, other than your voice, because we listened to a song that your publicist sent us, which is phenomenal. You had me then, but once you started talking with your Irish accent, I'm like, I love him already. Fanning myself. Do I hear you blushing on that end?
Not really. Yeah. Just a little.
Good. No. So, your music. Do you write your music because it's very intense and personal?
Yes, I would say I have written of the music I've recorded to date. I've written 90% of it, and continuing to write on a daily basis where possible. So yeah, most of it is personal. Some of it is writing from what I see around me, as in different people's situations and things happening, and and I've got an imagination as well. Part of being a writer is to be creative, and sometimes you've got to create some stuff to write about. But what I try and capture is a situation, story that people can relate to, and that it's something that's there that can help them on a daily basis. So I guess what I'm saying is that whenever Pete Kennedy is gone and is not around anymore, that he wants to be remembered as a songwriter who made a difference and help people in many different ways. So that's my goal. And of course, to have fun, write songs that when I'm performing, I can have a bit of fun and be able to connect with the audience and just have a good time with.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to say, I love that you say that. And I've said it a million times before, because recently we've been interviewing a lot of musicians, which I love because I'm a singer. I love when a songwriter who writes their own music says, I want to write something that will touch somebody. Because I think the way you touch somebody is writing something that happened to you, because it becomes inspiring. to the people who listen to it, because they're like, okay, this person had a really hard time, but they came through it, and if they came through it, so can I. And they'll always remember that. There's songs that I'll remember to this day that got me through such hard times. And I love that. And I'll say this again. I know there's some people, singers out there that don't write songs, but they do choose songs that are meaningful to them, that they think will be meaningful to the listeners and get something out of it. I love that. I can't stand it when a songwriter's like, I just put some words down. It sounded good, when the words were meaningful or could have been. And I think they missed the mark on certain things. But I love the fact that you do write songs.
I agree, because that's what makes country music, I guess, so vast and makes it so, I suppose if I can call it cross-genre now. It's, it goes into pop, it goes in, and you can hear its influences in the more modern sound. And it's great to see a song that means something, because, I'm not having a go at any particular genres of music, but like, I'm sorry, I've heard some songs come on commercial radio and I'm like, what exactly is that about? It's more about the beat, and they just, like what you said, they just throw a bunch of words together and, it sounds cool, let's record it. And to me, that's kind of like, why would you waste your energy? You're trying to say something as an artist, whether you've written the song or you covered a song. As an artist, you are trying to say something to people. You're trying to deliver a message. So put a bit of thought into it and put something there that can mean something to people. Is how I see it. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you 120%.
Oh, I agree with you as well. I absolutely do, and it's more personal, I think. And I think with your listeners and your fans who love you, I think when you write something personal about yourself and it touches them, it brings you closer together on a different level than just a fan and an artist. And I think that's also a big, huge thing as well. It kind of bridges the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, again, as an artist, as a writer, that's what you need to be doing. You need to be making sure you're connecting with your fans every day, because your fans are your future. And you learn that very early in the career as a musician, as a songwriter. If you don't have fans, you don't have a career. So when I'm asked what's number one most important thing for me every day when I start about my daily activities as a singer-songwriter, and that's to make sure that I hold on to the fans I have, keep them there, and expand my fan base and get more and more fans, and make sure that they're all part of the family and they're all part of the whole Pete Kennedy adventure. Because like I say, if they ain't there, your career ain't there. So that's something that's probably most important.
Absolutely. When you do a songwriting session, how do you what's the word I'm looking for? How do you approach a song? And do you write a song in a certain mood and you just write about that mood and what puts you in that mood? How do you go about that?
I try not to think too much about writing songs. I find with me, whether it's by accident or just by chance, it happens. And I could be driving back out of Nashville. I could be after finishing my day down there. I could be coming back out to Brentwood, and I could be just driving along, and I might just get an idea for a song. And I've got a pretty good memory, so I can tend to, if I've got a melody, I can kind of hum it or whatever, and kind of keep that there in my mind. And then when I get back home, I'll just pick up the guitar and start trying to see if I can make something work out of it. Other times you can write a song in 20 minutes and it just works, it just clicks, and it could be your best song that you've ever written. You could write for hours and hours and hours and hours on something, just trying to absolutely perfect it, maybe when it's already pretty halfway there. I don't really abide, here in Nashville there's a lot of rules for songwriting, and you have to put a bridge in a certain place, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and I'm kind of like, nah, you don't, I'm kind of like, who says, so I just kind of do my own thing. I write with lots of other great writers here too. I think they get a bit of a kick out of that, and we see what we've come up with stuff that's working. So we're going to keep going.
That's awesome. Now you actually have a song that has been released or is going to be released, a single.
I Am the One. It went out, the actual album, which really was my first USA release, went out on iTunes on May 6th. And that album got featured in New and Northworthy Country alongside Rascal Flatts, Keith Urban, Hunter Hayes, a Nashville soundtrack, and Brantley Gilbert, and many, many more greats. So that was quite a nice achievement for me to get up there. And the single "I Am the One," which is the story about me coming from a small little town back in Ireland and getting the chance to make a success of my career. So that kind of has that story in there. And that's the one that's out there at the moment. The most recent single, I guess, is "Love Like That," which was number one just before Christmas back at the British and Irish Hot Disc charts, and it also got to number 3 in Europe on the European Hot Disc. On the way up the charts, it knocked Toby Keith off a few positions, which was nice. But so that they're kind of the songs that we're, I suppose, I guess if you're trying to say we're trying to push songs right now, they are the ones that have been out there. "Crazy Country Girl" has been doing phenomenally well for me on iTunes. It's the most downloaded song, so it's kind of out there, and people are deciding what they like best themselves, I guess, and we'll just see where it all goes. Hopefully upwards and onwards.
That is so cool. Now, I have listened to "I'm the One," and that is a really beautiful song.
Yeah, it's basically, I got my first opportunity in Nashville in November 2011. And right up to that point, I was working a regular job back home, and things weren't wonderful in Ireland at that time. You were just right in the depths of recession, and nobody really could see or had any idea what way that was going to go or how long it was going to take for things to get better. This opportunity came to my door when Seymour Nashville, Lee Williams, the owner, just phoned me and said, "I'm after hearing a song called "Yellow" that you wrote and performed, and I'd like to invite you down to Nashville to represent Ireland." And that was the night before the CMA Awards. He was coordinating an international showcase. And that was my first stop in Nashville, and it was my first real chance at success. And that song basically covers that story. It covers, I was in one of the hotels down on Music Row, and I was just looking across the city, and that song just came to me. It was the night I was going to perform, and it was just me kind of singing, I don't know if I am the one, but I can make it through. And it's like, if you can hear me. And that line, I like it. It's like, if you can hear me, was me singing to my dad, who died when I was really young. And I guess something touched me at that time. It was just kind of like, gosh, I wonder if he can see me now, or does he know I'm doing this? And what way would it make him feel? So again, it inspired me to, really be determined about my performance that night, and for the want of a better word, to kick ass. And I think I pretty much did that. There was TV cameras there inside Music Row, which is a pretty big TV show out at Nashville, and it gets screened all over the world. And they recorded my performance, showed a few slips of it, and they interviewed me, and that got pretty much all over. And here I am. Everything took off from that point. So yeah, it was. There's a big meaning in that song. That's kind of, for anybody, that's looking for inspiration. I think it's one of the songs a lot of people get that from. Because it doesn't matter, once you try hard enough and you believe in yourself 100%, you probably will get to your end goal.
Oh, 100%. That song does absolutely speak volumes about that. And now that you've explained it a little more, the story behind it, it makes it all that much more appealing and inspiring, and really heartfelt. Like, I'm so sorry about the loss of your dad when you were younger. But I just thank you for sharing that with us. That's something very that's who I am. I don't, whatever's in there, it comes out in the songs. I think that's very obvious with a lot of the songs that's been written. But yeah, and that was, music was definitely very much a healing part of my early years, because I was 11 when my dad died. It was a very difficult time, and at that age, as a kid, you want to have your parents around if you can, for the better good. But music, probably I started learning the guitar around that time and started finding my voice as a singer. And music has been a massive part of my life for as long as I can remember now. Music is the best outlet, and it's the best healer. It really is. Music makes everything better.
It does, even whether you listen to it. But something I realized as well, and it's something you discuss among your peers and different folks around. Singing actually makes you feel better, whatever it does. If you've got a stressed day, some people sing in the shower, some people sing in the car, some people are too embarrassed to sing, but there's definitely something chemical going on when you sing, because it makes you feel a hell of a lot better. Whatever is there, there's definitely something.
Oh, it does. Even if you can't sing, I think the best thing to do is just turn up the song in your car and just sing at the top of your lungs. It gives you the best endorphins release. It really does.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Then mix that with a live audience, and that's just absolute bliss. It doesn't get any better than that.
How does it feel to you when you hear your song being sung back at you by your audience?
I remember the first time it happened, I was in shock, and that's probably the best feeling of all, is when you've wrote the song and you perform the song and your fans know it word for word, and you can just stop on stage and they will continue out the song and sing it back to you. That's just incredible. And that it's something else. And I remember when I went, my first major tour was September, October 2012, and actually a fellow New Yorker of yours, Neil Sedaka, went to the UK for a major tour, and I was brought on as support act for the tour. And that was an honor to get out before that guy and perform for him. But just the reaction of the audience as well, 2,500 to 3,000 people every night, and you're just there with a guitar and you're singing, and you can see the reaction from people that they're really buying into your songs, even though they've not heard them before. Because back then, a lot of the people at those gigs, I would say probably 90-95% probably had not heard of Pete Kennedy. And to see their reaction as a first-time reaction for those to be introduced to Pete Kennedy was incredible.
That's so awesome. What a rush that must be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's, and you need to harness that when you get it and keep it in your memory, because it's when you get the hard days in music, it's that stuff that keeps you going and keeps you driving towards more of that.
Absolutely. Now I have to ask, we'll get back to music in a moment, but just so our listeners kind of get an idea of exactly of everything that makes, what do you do in your spare time? Do you have a day job? Do you hang out with your family? Do you have hobbies?
Spare time is probably something I haven't had quite a lot of for the last 2 years, because it's just been absolutely roller coaster. I spend time with my family as much as I can. I've got 2 daughters aged 7 and 10, and they take up as much time as they can get me. They take up my time as much as possible, and they're awesome. They mean everything, and they come to a lot of the shows with me as well. So they're going to be coming up to New York next week, and we'll be heading up. Hobbies, lately I've started running, which I hadn't done for quite a while because my shins used to get really sore, and then I just went and bought really, really good footwear, and now I can run as much as I like. My shins don't get that sore anymore. So if you're out around Brentwood in Tennessee, you could quite likely see me just before it gets dark out running on the road. That's probably my best hobby at the moment. It's a good stress reliever too.
Very, very cool. That's cool. Now, were you performing at the CMA Award Festival?
Oh, I was all over. It started last Thursday, and it was incredible. It was a fantastic week. Just had so much great stuff going on. I got interviewed by Zeus TV, the country network, and they had me in studio. We had some fun there. Performed at the Bridgestone Arena on Thursday, and again on Saturday performed at Manuel Couture, the gentleman who clothed all the Johnny Cashes and all the old greats with the rhinestone suits, and he's still in business. What a guy! He's a fantastic guy. And where was I then? Yeah, we were just basically all around. And then, of course, Saturday night, Curb Records band American Young, I was asked on as special guest to open for them at Tin Roof, downtown Nashville, which was really cool. It was myself and Sam Hollyman and Chase Rice, Billy Collins. 4 of us we done sets before American Young came up, and they were awesome. They were fantastic. So it was busy, and radio interviews and all different types of interviews. Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun few days. And the amount of people that comes into town for that is just incredible from all over the States. and all over the world as well, from Europe, Sweden, Germany, all over.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Now, did you get to also kind of hang out with the a lot of the other artists from the MTS management group, like Amy Rose, Digitally?
I met them in passing a couple of times. It was just everybody was so busy. That,
sure.
It's just one of those weeks that everybody has so much going on that everybody's running all different directions, and you've got a lot of radio people in, you've got TV people in. You're going to meet fans while you get the opportunities. So it kind of starts at 8 a.m. in the morning and it goes right through till 10, 11 at night. So you meet tons and tons of people in passing. Most of the artists are in town for that, so you get to catch up with everybody. It's a fun time. I don't typically go on my Irish drinking rampage when CMA Fest or something like that is on, because that might slightly derail everything. So I kind of stay focused, stay tuned in.
Got to be on your best behavior.
Oh yeah.
Never know what happens when you're under the influence and you're Irish. A whole world happens.
You're probably better off to that one to say no comment.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, how long have you lived over in the United States?
I've been coming and going for 2.5, nearly 3 years, and just in March made a permanent move out of it. So I'm going to be I'm going to be spending a lot more time up in New York, it appears, because there's a lot of gigs coming up there. And I'm excited about that. That's fantastic. I've got stuff going on in Atlanta, Georgia. We're heading out on the road next year. We're actually going to cover pretty much everywhere in 2015. We're going out on 5 different blocks of bookings, and that's going to be pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
It's I guess 2.5 years is the amount of time I've been here pretty much most of the time, and I'm loving it. It's fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, I hope you get up to upstate New York, because we'd love to come and meet you, and we can even do a live broadcast with Pete Kennedy. Absolutely.
Well, I'll be up there next week, and I know I'm pretty slammed, but the next time I come back up there, I'm definitely going to be back up there at least 2-3 times this year. So I would love to do that. I'd love to call in, and I know I'm not going quite that far. I'm going as far as Kingston on Monday morning, I think. But that'll be as far up as I go on this occasion. But you told me anyway, just if you meet civilization, you're gone too far, you need to turn around and go back, right?
Yeah. But we can travel. We travel all over the United States, just like you. And if you're in Syracuse or places with civilization, we're actually not afraid of civilization. We will.
Yeah, I've some cheek saying something like that where I come from,
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes you get a little. I'm used to living in the city atmosphere. I come from Binghamton, New York, which is civilization, and so and when I got married, I moved up to, cow country, and so it's really you're in the middle of nowhere when you're out. Sometimes you have to run outside your car at night, and you're on the cell phone. And you're like, I can't hear you over the crickets. I'm sorry. You have to wait until.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a really cool place. I love New York. It's just something about it. I love going up there.
It has its charms when it's warm. When it's cold, it's not really awesome.
Yeah, but I guess you can grow accustomed to that.
I don't recommend below zero. 30 below zero or 50 below zero to anybody.
Yeah, that hurts. That's got to hurt. It's like your hair freezes if you stay out in it long enough, right?
It does. Like I work in the morning, and sometimes I don't dry my hair, and a couple of times it actually froze to my face in my jacket. It was quite something. I was like, oh, this is great, and sometimes it even broke off. I'm like, really, this is the weather. Really? And then, I have asthma, so I'd step outside and, my breath would be literally taken away, and I'm like, I'm going to die right here.
Yeah, you're not making it very appealing for me to want to live in that sort of a climate. That sounds like a lot of hard work to me.
Well, yeah, I can't lie. I just can't lie. Honestly, I would love to buy a summer home in a warmer climate. I mean, a home in a warmer climate for the winter months, and then come back when it's warm. But then I have to also be honest with you. When it's hot, it's like 98 degrees with 100% humidity. So we have no happy medium. It's either it's hellish or it's Arctic. It's just no in between.
Yeah, we were watching. I got a break on Sunday for an hour, and I went down to the riverfront stage to watch Lone Star performing. And yeah, man, it was hot. It was hot right there. We were there for about half an hour, and it was just super hot at that point for about half an hour. But then the sun went in a little bit, and it was beautiful for the rest of the day. It was like 80, 81, which was really nice with air, which was nice.
Air is good.
Yeah.
Air is good. So, are you working on any new albums? And so, what are inspiring those albums? If there's anything particular?
You know what I'm doing right now? I am just, I've decided for the next album, I'm just going to let the songs roll. And I really want to get something special with the next one. Mm-hmm. So I started writing for the next album about a year ago. And I got about 4 or 5 songs ready for that. So the aim is 11 songs for the next album. And strangely enough, I have only co-written about 2 of those 5. And I'm gonna start now. Once September comes in, I'm going to really start focusing, and I've got some targets of people that I want to co-write with to get the rest of the songs on. So I haven't put it, like I said, I never put a lot of initial thought into a song. I don't wake up kind of and say, right, I'm going to write a sad song about X, Y, or Z, and or I'm going to write an up-tempo fun song about going to the bars or whatever. I just sit down and see what happens. Once the songs have a story and that people can use them for the better good, that's what's most important to me. So we'll see that, and again, that's the focus of the next album is to continue to write songs that make a difference to people.
Awesome.
So I'm excited by it. And I'm going to take my time with it. And I'd hope to be able to record it the end of January next year. But if that doesn't happen, I'm going to wait. I'll wait till maybe towards the end of March. I want to make sure it's right. And I'm looking forward. I'm excited.
That sounds exciting. That's so awesome, and I can't wait for that album to come out. That's really amazing. Now, you travel all over. What other tour dates other than New York do you have coming up?
Well, next from let's go to January next year. January 2015, there is the Pete Kennedy Story Behind the Songs International Tour taking off. So in January, I kick off on January 2nd out of Nashville, and I head to Memphis, Texarkana in Texas, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, back around by Louisiana and New Orleans, across into Florida, down around all the cities in Florida, back into Savannah, Georgia, and back into Nashville for the 23rd of January. That's the first route. And that tour is going to be Pete Kennedy with his guitar, sitting down with an intimate audience, stories behind the songs. And we've done it at the Metropolitan Room in New York a couple of times earlier on this year, and it's just gone really, really well. And we've decided, okay, let's do this tour, and we can do the full band thing another time. And this is something I really want to do. And then after that, it's back to Ireland and full tour around a part of Ireland and the UK for February, and then it's back to the USA in March, and we'll be in New York in March again, and all over, and it just continues that way. We've got stuff in Europe, we've got stuff back here, and vice versa. So next year is going to be a bumper year, and it's just literally going to be that Story Behind the Songs tour.
That's amazing. I don't know when you're going to breathe, but that is awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be busy, but that's something I'm passionate about. I want to deliver my message. I want to get my songs out there. And you know what? The best way, you can talk about YouTube and social media and all that great stuff, which is fantastic for getting your songs out there. But it's not personable in the sense that you don't get to sit down in front of an audience and say, hey, I'm Pete Kennedy and here's my songs. And that's something that I love doing. And something I'm super, super, super pumped about.
I love that. I love that you said that, because I love it when people break it down to simplicity of just, this is me, this is my music, this is my heart, let me share it with you. And
that's exactly
I wish more people did that, because I really think it's exactly what music is all about, because music is the heart and the soul. And
absolutely. And sorry to cut across you, but that type of tour is not necessarily going to get me into commercial top 40 radio. But hey, you know what? I'm going to get out there and I'm going to connect with the fans and let them know exactly who I am and where this music is coming from and what it's all about.
Absolutely. You know what, though? It may not get you into commercial top 40 radio as it looks now, but it does what's most important, and that is it's just you, and it's raw, and people appreciate that, I think, more than is realized, is when somebody's raw commercialism in top 40.
I think you're right. And again, that's evident when I'm out on tour and I'm playing my gigs, whether it's 100 people in a room or 500 people in a room. I can just feel the connection. I can just sense it when I'm performing. And I just feel like that's what I have to be doing. I'm whether it's something special about that connection between you, the artist, and the audience. And when you're doing a big band show and you've got maybe 5,000 to 10,000 people in the audience, you don't get that same connection. You don't get that same intimacy about the delivery of the songs. So I really, really want to do this and see this one through for the next year. I think it's going to be a massive, massive step in my career.
Well, you let us know where you're going to be, and, we will absolutely promote every tour date that you have. So, and we'll let people know that, it's going to be you and your guitar and your stories and your heart and your soul, and that they should come see you. We will more than happily push for your tour date. Also, I just wanted to offer to you, if you would like, we have a Music Mayhem page, which I mentioned earlier. We would love to feature you on there. And we'll also post links to where people can get your tour dates, where people can buy your music, where, people can go to your website if that's something you would be interested in.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Go for it. Yeah.
Sounds good. We are out of time. Holy bananas, that went fast.
That went really fast. Yes.
It really did. You have an open door on the Wicked Edge. Any time you want to come on, you just let us know, and you got it. It has been nothing but a fantastic, fantastic pleasure, Pete. You're a beautiful soul, and I really appreciate you sharing yourself with us, and love your music. And you're so talented, and I hope you just take on the world.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks so much for having me on. It's been such a pleasure to be here talking with you as well.
Oh, thank you so much. And everybody, this is Pete Kennedy. Go buy his music. We're going to have him on our Music Mayhem page. If his accent doesn't get you, his music will. Oh, yeah. I now have a new crush. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Everybody have such a fantastic night. We'll post everything on Music Mayhem once we get all the information. Again, this is Pete Kennedy. Thank you so much, Pete, for coming on. You're absolutely amazing, and I look forward to hearing more of your music. And everybody have a great night. Love one another, and keep rocking out. Good night, everybody.